SC Vanguard. Yeah.
Yeah.
My name is Mark Irons, and I marched the Santa Clara Vanguard from 1997 to 2001. I aged out as drum major.
And my name's John Steinwinder. People might remember me as Steiny. I marched 79, 80, and 81.
Are you ready?
We should talk. This is going to be our first episode. We should kind of give a little bit of introduction as far as what we're doing. We're the Fanguard, and we're starting off by reviewing great Santa Clara shows that we marched in, as well as after we get done with that round, we're going to start cherry picking some of our favorite all-time Santa Clara shows just to watch and enjoy and react and hopefully enlighten some of you with some things you never knew about before.
That's right.
How about?
That's right. So a couple of the guys that march Santa Clara that are super huge Santa Clara fans.
And hopefully, since this summer, obviously, none of us can get our drum corps fix.
That's right.
Hopefully, this might help fill the gap a little bit.
That's right. So
we're the next best thing, people.
We're the next best thing to getting that drum corps fix. That's right. So today, John, we're gonna watch 1980. Yeah. So what are we gonna watch here in 1980, John? What are the song selections?
Well, the song selections for the 1980 show included the opener was "Procession of the Nobles" by Rimsky-Korsakov. After that, the drum feature was called Stone Ground 7. And that was done by a great vocal jazz group, a legendary group called Singers Unlimited. So you have the Vita in the recording, and then finally, the closing production, which was my favorite part of the show, is Jupiter from the Planets by Gustav Holst. It was the first time that the Vanguard had dropped out of the top three since the inception of DCI in 1972. We were the only corps left who had stayed in the entire top three ever since DCI started, and this was where we were one of the first time the corps dropped out of the top three. Of course, the following year, as we all know, we came back and won it all, which is a record, by the way, another trivia thing. We're the only corps in history still to go from a 7th place finish one year to winning it the next year.
Yeah.
The other major thing about drum corps trivia in history is that this was the show that really opened the doors wide open to asymmetrical drill, to basically take away the center line and say, we're going to use the whole field. And it opened the doors, and drum corps was never the same since.
Well, you'll have to definitely point out.
Yeah, I will.
Some of those special things as we watch
in the show. I will point that.
I'm excited, man. I think you did a great setup. You ready to watch this thing?
Let's do it.
All right, let's watch. Let's watch.
And we are off.
Oh, wow. The drum major's on the field.
Standard for those days. All right. And the thing is, we couldn't even see the drum major. We simply had to use our ears to stay in tempo. It wasn't that hard. The drums were behind us. Now, this is not true asymmetry. This is what we would call off-centered drill.
Right, I see the symmetry still. Oh man, you guys sound amazing. I couldn't believe how loud you were at the beginning there.
Well, G bugles. When you have one less valve, it's easier to push air through the instrument. We're all on a unison note. This was known in the old days as a form rotation, but this was a pivot rotation because your center point remained at one spot. You also have what's called a floating rotation, but this is the pivot rotation.
That's cool.
And then the remainder of this will be symmetrical. Marching timpani. You always felt bad for those guys. Those things are heavy.
Yeah,
and we also had something unique that year. We had 8 tenor drums. We were experimenting. This was Fred Sanford's last year at the Corps. We were experimenting with 2 different sizes of tenor drum, a small set of tenors and a large set of tenors. You'll see it in the drum solo. by the way,
A bit of a tempo
centered.
change, man.
Yeah, a bit of just a kick to the end.
Bum, 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 bum. And a bow. I love it. Yeah, take a bow.
Traditional.
That's great.
Now you can see the 8 tenors on the field. They're the ones pivoting and rotating
yeah.
in the middle.
Tipping solo. It's grooving, man.
7/8. It's all in 7/8. It was a really pretty drill. This was a combination of Pete Emmons and Dave Owens. A really pretty drill.
Ooh, that horns up, man. Little fake out. Great.
Now this was extremely hard. Not this part. I'm sorry. I'm just getting ahead of myself. This was a lot of fun, actually, learning all this.
Drum solos were a lot longer back in the day, huh?
They were entire productions unto themselves.
Ooh, the maypole. Yeah, classic.
This is what was hard.
I love the. Is that the drum major in the middle that was time marking time?
Yes.
Ooh, rotating that star.
Rotating the circle off center.
And
That's a floating rotation.
and not to mention a Celerando.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Dude, that was cool. That was cool,
Yeah.
man.
I want to
That
tell
was
you,
cool.
though, how many hours we spent on that. Oh, my gosh. Because you
Man.
never had a constant point. The pivot point was always rotating and moving and floating. Now, from here
Kind of
out...
feels like we're gonna be listening to. It almost feels like the Little Mermaid. How it starts, the calypso.
Little Mermaid. From here
A
out
little bit.
until the very end of the show, we're entirely asymmetrical. Now it's true asymmetry.
Yeah, I see. Just. And so this is where the judges just go. Ah, how do I do it?
Well, you have to remember that the judges in those days
The judges were on A
were set up
and
for
B.
side 1, side 2.
Wow, that's a great power set.
And we pretty much stay in that set and variations thereof for the entire production. Because again, in these days, you stood still for your concert
This was
selection.
the concert
Our
portion
concert
of the. Oh, I love it, man. We had a similar
Form out.
form when I marched in 98 and 99. Very close to the front sideline, big arc. Didn't have the drums like that though. 98 was close to it.
Yeah, 98 was the Copeland thing. I remember that. You know what's interesting watching this now all these years later is, and I know, yeah, I'm out there, but visually, how far the activity has come since then. And those things were a variation. Most corps have rifles, okay? Rifle, saber, flag. Those are scepters.
Scepters.
Scepters are actually made, here's a trivia point. No, those are made from wooden bedposts.
Really? I believe
Serious. Those are wooden bedposts which we taped up white and added those red and green streamer things on it, okay?
Yeah.
To give it, make it, spice it up. But they're wooden bedposts. You can see the carvings in it. Those would be corners of a bed, okay? And the guard instructors went out and bought like 50 of them, and then taped them all up, and then asked for the guard.
little tassels on them to make them very dramatic.
Yeah, they introduced them in.
I love the boots too, John.
59.
I just have to say, yeah, seeing those classic boots. And seeing the color guard in the Aussie.
Yeah, it is. It really is endearing to look back upon it. Okay.
You guys think you'll let loose a little bit here?
Oh yeah, we were told just to go ahead and play pretty much as loud as we can in control. You know, don't overblow. But with the old 2-valve G bugles, it was really hard to overblow them because you could crank them up. You could play them so loud.
I remember I played on G. Remember?
That's true. You did, but you had a 3-valve. 2 valves just have less resistance. And so it's easier to push large volumes of air through the instrument all the time.
Oh, who's that?
Mike Zapanta, our drum major.
I've met Mike. He did videography for many years for the Corps.
That's correct.
And he followed us around.
Film.
He was pretty low profile.
He studied film
nice
and film production directing at UCLA. That was his college major.
Nice.
There
Nice
I am.
horns down. Ooh,
There,
nice
I'm actually right there.
Oh, is that you? Oh yeah, the short one.
The short guy. To the right side of the screen. I'm the short guy. Yeah, I was always so undersized next to all the other baritone players.
Oh.
I was definitely the smallest baritone player.
We could always find you, huh? All right.
Absolutely. Just look for the shortest guy in the baritone line. There's John. There's Steiny.
Oh, here's that famous line.
Well, see, and now you can see where asymmetry is really kicking into gear. We're nowhere near close to having a symmetrical idea. We've got an unbalanced form, side 1 to side 2. So basically, at this point, there was no side 1 and side 2.
Got the planet out there.
Well, we create 4 or 5 planets here in a minute.
Oh, here it comes.
You would be shocked to find out how many people could not hold their leg up in that pause.
Yeah, I bet.
Somebody seemed to always fall over at one show or another. There's your planets.
Yeah. Now they're all floating around.
And nobody has seen anything like this in drum corps yet. Not at this level. Just really wild asymmetry that was so different than anything else prior to it. And now we're getting back more into a off-centered idea. There's symmetry to that form, but it's just off-centered. Oh yeah, mime walk. Mime walk.
Wow. That's cool. I'm glad they got a close-up on that.
This was hard. This was hard because we were marching on the first and third and then the second beat in 3/4. Dot, 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 dot. Very difficult.
Very intense.
Oh yeah, there's nothing subtle about it. Drum corps was much more aggressive, I guess would be the word. And this whole production, this final closing production, we didn't learn the drill to this. Well, the drill you see here in the video, we didn't learn that until the first rehearsal on the Nationals tour in mid-July, because it was being changed constantly in the first half of the season. They had different ideas all the time. And they finally gave us this version on the final tour. And you can see, because we had maybe 3.5 weeks to polish this. And I'm serious, that's not a lot of time when you're going to DCI. You can see definitely some form errors in there, you might say.
Looks pretty good to me, John.
It's good enough to be a solid finalist corps. Was it good enough to be competitive for the championship? No. If you watch the top 2 or 3 corps in the same year, they march their form, they control their forms better than we do.
Okay.
individually, we have outstanding technique. But as far as definition and form control, no. We didn't have the time. Doesn't take away from my enjoyment of it, though.
Slows down just a little bit right here, but yeah.
A little bit. That's classic. Prance forward. That's a classic Santa Clara moment.
Oh, it's amazing.
I remember how tired I was at this point. Not only physically, but my chops as well, because the lead baritone part was so high that year. Routinely high. 13 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice.
Plastic.
Nice. Oh, dude. That was awesome. That was awesome.
It was a landmark show. There's no other way to describe it, okay? And not every landmark show in drum corps history is going to be a championship show. All right, there's numerous examples of that down the line over the years. Look at '93 Phantom when they introduced the crab walk. They were third place that year, but everybody remembers that show so well.
'93 Star.
Again, the Star didn't win, but how well do we remember that show 25, 27 years later now?
Absolutely.
It's a landmark show.
Absolutely.
It's the same with this show. It was 7th place, but I would say it was one of the best 7th place corps in drum corps history, okay? As far as the quality in that corps.
Yeah, right.
All right.
But when you think back to the 1980 show, what were some of the obviously you talked about some of the memories, learning the drill, kind of, that closer drill, kind of last minute. But what were some of the other memories you had? Some fun takeaways from that summer.
So many great memories. I remember when we first started learning the opener, and we were all just shell shocked when we started in the corner, and it's like, what? We're gonna do what? It was unheard of. We hadn't, nobody had ever done that yet. To start in the corner and come out and then rotate to the center is like, whoa.
Right.
But we fell in love with that idea from the beginning. It's like, we are doing something very, very different here. And I also remember even after finals, coming off the field, and I don't know if I ever felt prouder of being in the corps than I did at that moment. The placement didn't make a difference. Knowing that we were changing the activity was a real moment of pride for that corps. It's like, years from now, people will still remember this show, and we were right.
So
okay.
The recap, all in all, great year, man. 1980. I love that opening, that powerful opening with the festive prelude, and dude, just amazing. And then Jupiter, who could ask for anything more there? So congratulations. The next one will be 1998. So that'll be exciting, and that'll be coming up on the next video, I think. So.
Well, we're gonna be filling up the summer with all of these to keep everybody satiated, since they can't get their live fix out there this summer. So we're doing what we can to help fill the gap. But this is the start, and we hope you'll enjoy our journey with us as we reminisce down Vanguard Lane. And once again, we are the Santa Clara Fanguard.
That's right. That's right. Thank you again for tuning in, and hit that like and subscribe button so that you'll know the next time a Fanguard video drops. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you next time.
See you.